This is the part 2 of the gesture animation. If you haven't seen the part 1, please go check it out before you come to this video. So in this one, we are going to do the rest of the animation. First, we are going to create another shared value and is ball pressed. And we are going to first let's position our object where we want it to be. So we want it at the bottom right corner, and from there we can move. Now we are going to add the close icon. And this will be our close icon. I've already imported it. And then we are going to add the styles for this one. So this closed container will be having a size of let's say 50. Yeah, that will work. And we'll be having the width as close icon size. Similar height will be the same because we want it to be a circle. So for that we want the border radius to be half of the width and height. Okay, let's go. Now let's add the animated styles for this one. So it will be animated close icon. So let's create this. We haven't created. And based on the is ball pressed, we are going to use a spring animation on this one. So if the ball is pressed, we want it to scale up to 1.2, otherwise let it be 1. Okay. So now we are going to, based on our update, if it's getting updated, then we are going to make the is ball pressed that value is true. And after this, okay, we are going to add the unfinalized, and here we are going to, and the is ball pressed, we are going to turn the is ball pressed that value to false. Now we need to find the center of the close icon based on the position of our object. The close icon center is having the position of this. Okay, axis 50 minus, if you think about it, you will find it. So we are going to find the center of the close icon in respect with the draggable object. Okay, so this is our x and y values for that close icon center. Now on update, we are going to do some animation. If you see properly, then the negative axis is above and the positive axis is below. So we are calculating it based on that. Okay, don't get confused. So if we are going to check if our draggable center is within the limits of our close icon. Okay, so for that we are going to do some calculation. Based on that, we are going to do some animation. And based on that, we are going to create another shared value which we are going to use to scale our draggable object. So if this happens, then we are going to scale our ball to 0.5, and else if this is not happening, then let's scale it back to 1. Okay, and we're using the wheel spring animation for that. It's not working. Okay, I've not added it. Okay, and it closed on its own. I've done something wrong again. Okay, dot value, I forgot to add the dot value here. Still not working. Something else. There is alt somewhere else. It should be close icon center dot x. Okay, so now it should be working. Yeah, it's working properly, as you can see. We want it to just come at the center when we bring it closer. Okay, but first, as you can see, this ball is going under the close icon. Okay, so for that we are going to add a z index 1, so it becomes opaque, it becomes on top of the close icon. So now I'm going to copy this, and we're going to add it in the on finalize. And if on finalize, if we leave it at the x, if we leave it in the close icon, then we want to do some animation. We want to transition it to the center of the close icon. Okay, so for that we are going to update the offset x and offset y values to close icon center dot x and close icon center dot y, so that it comes at the center of the close icon. And we are going to add a delay to this, okay, so that it looks much more smooth. But let's show you the animation without the delay. Okay, so this is our animation without the delay. As you can see, if we come inside this plus 55 and minus 55, that is within the limits of the close icon. So now let's add the delay animation, and this delay will be having a 300 milliseconds delay, and after that we're going to add the value with spring animation. So the value will be close icon center dot y plus 65, that will go below the screen. Okay, so the positive axis is below the screen. Okay? So we're going to after moving it to bottom, we are going to move it the offset x dot value to 0 again, so to the right side, right where it was at the starting position. Okay, so it will be right, it will first come here, go below, and then go right here. Okay, it will be positioned right here. Let's reload the app so that we can get our object, draggable object back. Now we're going to add an opacity to our close icon. So if is ball press that value, then we're going to uh, bring the opacity to 1. Otherwise, we're going to have the opacity at 0. But of course, the delay, because we have added the delay before also, so here we are also going to add a delay. It's not required. Say now we are going to add a translate y here. So if is ball press dot value is true, then we are going to add a translate y as 0, so it will be at its position right now where it is. Otherwise, with the delay, we are going to add a transition. So if is ball press dot value is false, then it will be below the screen. Okay, at 65 value, at 65, and we are going to use derived value right now. This is another hook which is really helpful. So we are going to use a hook, and using that we'll be getting the ball opacity, and this is use derived value, using which you can get you can return a value based on another shared value. Okay, so this returns a value based on the value of another shared value, so you can directly use it like this. I'll be showing you. So let's copy this one and we'll just change it a bit. So let's change it to 30, no, maybe 35. Let's give it 35. So 35, this is 35. Yeah, so it's uh, not the limit of our icon, close icon, but just a little bit inside it. Okay. Let's return if there's nothing, then it's not returning anything. So with timing, we're going to return 1. Let's return 1. We've not added value again. It happens, don't worry. So bring it, it goes, and we need to reload again. So this is okay. Now we will be creating a compose gesture. So a compose gesture is a mixture of more than one gesture. You can add as many as you want. So there are many options also for that. So compose gesture equal to gesture dot. You can check in the documentation. There are many options. So we'll be using exclusive right now, and in this compose gesture, uh, the priority of the first animation is more than the second one. The priority of the second animation is more than the third one. So if the first one fails, then only the second one will work. And this is our double tap gesture. And dot number of taps. So how many number of taps you want? I want 2. And dot on and this will return callback, and it will be having and if success. Let's just console that log right now. So let's check the double tap. As you can see, when I double tap, So checking the double tap. If you double tap, then it says double tap, and if you move the object, so you are using drag gesture right now rather than double tap gesture. And if you double tap, then it says double tap. Okay. And if you move, it doesn't happen. So now we have created two more shared values, width and height of the draggable object. And if double tap success, then we are going to increase the width and height of the draggable object to width and height of the screen, so it will be going full screen. Let's create another one. This will be our border radius, so we want to move the border radius to 0 also. So whenever we double tap, if it's not full screen and we want to create it full screen, then the border radius will turn to 0. And then we're going to update the full screen that value to true. Else if it's full screen, then we are going to turn it into the same size it was before at the start. Okay. So if it's not full screen, then it will turn to full screen, and if it's in full screen state, then we will turn it back to this circular state. Height dot value, that is h dot value, and the border radius will be red dot value. So we are going to add this whole uh, animation inside this condition. So we only want this to happen when this is not in full screen. So if it's in full screen, we don't want it to happen. Similarly here also we're going to add this condition, so if it's not in full screen then only this will work. So if it's in full screen, then if we drag it, then it will come back to its original position, that is 0 0, of course in its axis. But if it's not in full screen, then it will work on the other animation. Now we'll add another fling gesture to our project. So this is gesture.fling. So as you see, we have removed our object from our screen and we are going to bring it using the fling animation. It has a dot direction function, and this will take the directions dot whichever direction you want. So I'm going to use the up. You can use the right, down, left, and then dot hit slop. So this will take the properties where you want the position of our fling animation to happen. So I want it to happen at the right bottom part, so right in this position, and it will be having a width of say 100. You can add a height also, so that will be limited to our corner, right bottom corner. I have only added it to the right side, so I'll be having the whole right side 100 width and dot. And what you want to happen, so I want the object, draggable object, uh, x and y value to become 0 and 0. So it will be coming at the initial position. And of course we want to scale the ball, because earlier we have scaled the ball when we brought it below the screen. Now we need to add a animated dot view so that we can use a gesture detector on top of it. And this animated dot view will be having the size of the full screen. So we're going to add the styles.container here. Of course, it needs to be inside the gesture handler root view, and then above the animated dot view we'll be having the gesture detector again. And this gesture detector will take the gesture property equal to Fling Gesture, and we need to reload that again. Okay, now again we need to close the application and to restart it. Reload the application will not work every time. So now as you can see, we'll be able to drag full screen, bring it back, close it, and then with the fling, so we are lacking the smoothness of the animation. Maybe it's because of the save ball property we have not updated. So let's update the save ball property. Okay, so now the full screen draggable spring animation is working fine. And then we are able to drag the object in not full screen state and bring it full screen. The animation is working perfectly here, and we can close this, bring it back with a fling animation, make it full screen again. Thanks for watching, and you can check the documentation for other API references and animations as well.